You know what? When you're standing up, I like the way you answer your questions much better. I don't like that pledge cam behind you, but you know what? I don't really care because this is really real. But what I really want to talk about is what you are so good at talking about, and African American history. And you seem to really have a grip on it, and I love that you keep teaching me, and I'm the grandma. So, what part of African American history should we start at? Because you seem to have a passion about this. I'm not sure where it's coming from.
We should do the beginning at slavery.
I don't even know where that is. You seem to know so much more than I ever knew. So, I don't know a lot, so you're going to take me. Yeah, I am. I'm recording, yeah.
I'll tell you what slavery is. It's one. White people got to own African Americans.
It's awful.
And they had work all day and they had like.
Did they work all day?
How much? They had to just work and work.
How much did they get paid?
They didn't get paid.
What?
They didn't pay them.
That's crazy. That's wrong.
They owned a person and they didn't pay them.
Oh my God. That's awful.
And so, Frederick Douglass. He's a famous African American, and he actually had a newspaper station in Rochester, New York.
Seriously, right here?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I did not.
And so, he's a man who escaped from slavery. He was in slavery, and then somebody owned him, and then he got slavery again. He got a family, and then he went back to slavery. And he wanted to learn about school. His mom was teaching him, his stepmom, but his stepdad said no because it was illegal to teach an African American.
Wait a minute. Where was his real mom? What happened to his real mom?
I'm pretty sure she was a slave, or they killed her.
Oh, that's so sad. Or maybe they just got separated or something? Oh, that's so sad.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't his real parents. It might have been. I'm not sure.
Maybe real dad and not real mom. Something must have happened to her.
I don't know.
Oh, that's so sad.
And, so he escaped from slavery. But he had a little help from this woman. I forgot her name. And she helped him escape from slavery. And I guess after that, he married her.
Oh, it's a love story, kind of, too. This is a movie. This is awesome.
So, when he escaped, he was one of the few African Americans who were able to escape slavery. Now let's get to Abraham Lincoln about ending slavery. So, Abraham Lincoln, when he was a kid, he lived in a small house with many brothers and sisters.
How many?
A ton.
A ton.
And his family was poor.
Oh.
They lived in the woods.
They
It's either I think it's Abraham Lincoln, but I think George Washington lived like this.
Yeah, back then, a lot of people didn't have a lot of money, and then they became...
Abraham Lincoln and George Washington pretty much lived the same.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of money back then. Back then, you could go into politics, and you didn't have to have a fortune to back you.
And he was walking, and he walked in town. One time, he saw white people, seeing them in the middle of town getting some slaves. And Abraham Lincoln, he was a white person, and he thought that was wrong to have slaves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so he fought in the Civil War for civil rights for African Americans.
Yeah.
And when he became president after that, he signed the Emancipation Proclamation.
What is that? I don't think I even can say that's such a big word. Emancipation Proclamation.
It's a paper that he signed.
Okay.
It says it's illegal to own an African American.
Awesome.
So nobody can own them, but people still did many years after that, but then they stopped, but they still gave them.
Now the people that believed in the... Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you can say.
Who wanted slaves? The people in the North or the South?
Most of the mean things was more in the South.
I think so. I think you're right. I think I remember hearing something about that.
And so Abraham Lincoln, he was assassinated by a guy in a theater with his wife.
Oh my God.
And he died.
Are you kidding? That just breaks my heart. That's so sad.
And then there was the African Americans who didn't have the same rights as white people, where they had different restaurants, different schools, different water fountains. Everything was separate because
That
white.
doesn't make any sense.
And they gave them terrible stuff, and the white people got the best stuff.
That makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? That's like crazy. That's like ridiculous. But it happened for sure. We know this.
Well, you lived about a few years after they ended.
Yeah, I think I was born in 1961.
Yeah, it was a few years after.
Okay, yeah, I think so. About the same time. Maybe 62, maybe 62, 63, 61, 2, 3, and 4. Maybe about the same time, I'm thinking.
And so, Martin Luther King, he was born in, I guess, he wanted to hang out with white people and stuff, white kids. But he couldn't. The kids wanted to hang out with each other, but they couldn't because their moms and dads wouldn't let them. So even the kids sometimes wanted to hang out, but they couldn't.
Aww. That's
And
wrong.
it was this fake movie, but this could have happened. This one girl, she wasn't even brown, she was tan.
Oh, maybe black and white.
She was Indian.
Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe.
And she didn't even have the rights to learn English. And at
Kidding
school,
me.
And at school she had to be a janitor and clean the floors.
Aw.
She was just a kid.
But maybe she was smart enough to do something better. She just didn't have the opportunity, maybe, huh?
Well, it was in a movie. This didn't actually happen. It could have happened to people. It probably happened to people, but
Yeah.
this girl was made up for them.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. But it probably really happened in real life. That's
Yeah,
probably why
some
they put that there. Yeah.
Some people didn't have the rights to even learn English.
Right, right.
And so that one day, Martin Luther King and a lot of African Americans got arrested
For what?
for no reason.
That's awful.
Because the whites didn't like the African Americans.
Yeah, they basically got arrested for being black.
And so they sprayed them with hoses. They sprayed kids. And some people died because of the hoses. Some people even died because of the dogs. Mean German shepherds that would attack them.
Not one like
Bailey.
one like this one because she's too lazy, but let's
One
consider
like Bear that would attack someone.
your dog would. Yeah, your dog's
Bailey's
aggressive.
friendly.
Yeah.
Unless there's a stranger, sometimes.
Yeah, well, she pretends to be vicious, but she's not. We all know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a good girl.
And so yeah.
All right, so
And Martin Luther King was one of the people who got arrested.
whatever happened to Martin Luther King? Let's talk about how the rest of his life went. Let's wrap up the story, so to say. This is like a news story, so let's wrap it up.
He got out of jail
Okay.
by his wife.
Okay.
She called the President of the United States.
Who was the president at that time? I don't even
I
know.
think it was like John F. Kennedy. When was he president?
I am ignorant. This is all your story. I'm not giving
I
you.
forgot
This is
which
all your story, and anything that we don't have the answers to, I want you to Google. So, called the president and go ahead.
Alright, so she called the president and she told him about what happened, and he made that illegal.
Awesome.
And all the African Americans were set free from jail. And then Martin Luther King gave his "I Have a Dream" speech, but he walked.
What is that?
Well, before that, he had a march from Selma to Montgomery and did his "I Have a Dream" speech. Everybody walked miles together. Even white people joined to end
I didn't hear about this ever before. Really?
those things. So some white people did go because some white people didn't like it.
Okay.
Most did like it. Some didn't.
Do you know anything about what he said in that speech? Because this is the first I've ever heard of
He
this.
said, "I have a dream.
Okay.
I have a dream that my kids will go to school in peace with white children.
Okay.
I have a dream with the world where African Americans have the same rights as white people. Because Martin Luther King Jr. was an African American.
Okay. What else?
And so that, I don't remember all of it. His speech was very long.
How long? Really super long? That's all you remember?
I know it was long. And so then, I think in the 1940s or 50s maybe even 60s,
Okay.
he died. Because he walked out of his apartment one day and he got shot because many people even before that tried to assassinate him because they didn't like his ideas. They don't know, they still to this day they have not figured out who shot him.
Are you kidding? Oh.
So
Now I feel like I want to cry because it sounds like he was a really good guy. What good things did he do for the African American community? Sounds like he was important that he must have been doing something good for the black people that somebody probably wanted to kill him to stop it. What good things did he do?
the good things that he did was he gave so he ended the segregation.
That's like huge. Oh my God, that's like huge. Like it's like he's a hero. It's like an all-American hero without a cape for the black community.
Yeah, but this is Ruby. This is, what's her name? Rosa Parks. I don't have a very long story about her, but she's a famous African American. Because one day she was riding the bus.
Yeah.
And the bus driver told her to give up her seat to a white person, and she wouldn't. And so she got arrested for that.
Are you kidding me? That's crazy. What?
Yeah, she got arrested for that.
I never heard about this.
And then, so after that, when Rosa got out of jail, her and Martin did the bus boycott.
What?
Walk.
I don't even know what that is.
The bus
You're gonna have to tell
boycott walk was where people would walk to work, African Americans, and they wouldn't ride the bus to prove a point that African Americans didn't have to give their seat up to white people.
How'd that go over?
They changed the law, and now they didn't have to give up their seats.
Oh boy. So did white people start to say, okay, that black person can sit there and I'm gonna stand? Or did they say, you get up anyways? Or how? Maybe you don't know the answer to that. You might not know the answer to that.
White people, they were fine with that because it wasn't as big as ending segregation, but they didn't really like it.
Yeah.
But they still wanted to kill Martin. How they bombed his house with his wife and his baby in it.
That's.
He wasn't in there. He was at a meeting with people.
He was.
When he went home, and this guy ran to him and he's like, "Martin, your house was bombed."
Really?
And so he went home and saw that and luckily his family was alive.
He was so happy, I bet.
He had like 4 children though, but that was before he had all those children.
Yeah.
But I don't think he had.
So is he alive today? Did we talk about? I don't even remember because we've been taping for a while. Is he alive today?
No, I just said that he was assassinated in the 1950s.
Oh, we did. We already did cover that.
And now brings me to my next,
Yeah, let's.
my final person,
Okay, who is that?
Ruby Bridges.
Ruby. Tell me about Ruby. What a beautiful name.
She was the first ever African American girl. She did this when she was in 1st grade. To go to an all-white school after segregation was illegal.
Must have been hard for her.
And so U.S. Marshals had to walk with her. And
Why?
so because people were trying to attack her, they didn't like her. They were being mean.
A little girl?
Yeah. She was 6.
That's almost a baby. That's awful.
She had like 8 brothers and sisters, but at that time she didn't have them all.
Aww.
And so she went on her first day, and but before she went out, they said, don't look back, don't look at anyone, absolutely never look back or look at them. And so she didn't. And then on one day, she looked at them, and she looked back, and went back and prayed for them, that they'd be good people.
Oh.
And then, they were boarded up, and then they pushed the boards up to the side and ran at her. And then, so one U.S. Marshal had to grab her hand and run her into the building, into the school.
Oh, poor baby.
And all the other U.S. Marshals had to hold all the people back because they were trying to run into the school. And the day that happened, it was when they called her a niggo.
A nigger.
A nigger. And a KK, a Klutz Klutz Klan.
No, they called her a nigger, but they didn't call her a Ku Klux Klan because nigger is what they would call black people when they hated, when they really hated people. But Ku Klux Klan were the people that called them nigger.
How do you know that? Because why would a white person write that?
I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe you could be right, and I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that.
I think it was an insult to black people, cause
nigger is an insult to black people.
But Klutz Klutz Klan, it might be just because why would a white person write that if they didn't like her?
Yeah. I just always thought that nigger was a bad word, and Ku Klux Klan were the people that hurt the black people. But we can Google that and verify that because I could be wrong. Okay? So, man, go ahead. Finish your story.
She had a teacher named Miss Henry. No other teacher would teach her because they thought that segregation was right. And they hated that she had to go to school. And the one teacher, Miss Henry, she really liked her. She was a great student. And so that was
Miss Henry was the teacher?
Yep.
She's like a hero in a way for the black African American community.
And then so next year in second grade, this one mom sent her two boys because they've been troublemakers at the house and she can't stand it. So she sent them to school so they'd stop being troublemakers. And so after that, other white people started sending their kids, and then black African Americans sent their kids.
Yeah.
So now African Americans and white people were in Ruby's class.
Oh, how'd that go over? Probably okay, because you know what? Black kids and white kids, you know what? They're the same. They like the same things.
Yeah.
Well, not 100%, but they're just like you meet other white kids and you're all the same, but doesn't mean like you like the same toys or the same games or the same shows. But basically, you're all the same, right? Don't you think?
Yes, but white children did go to school when she was in first grade.
Yeah.
They just weren't allowed to go in her class because they were white.
Yeah.
And the teacher wouldn't let them.
What do you think about that?
And I guess whenever they saw, they were mean to her. They didn't like her. Even the kids.
Because the teacher was trying to put them together so everybody could be happy together.
One time, I guess they brought them to the class. I don't know if this actually happened. It was in the movie. I'm not sure if it actually happened. Of the movie of Ruby Bridges. And every time they played games with Play Her Third, they left her out, or they just skip her. Like when they played Duck Duck Goose, they'd never touch her head.
Oh, that really makes me feel sad. I know it's a little thing, but that is terrible.
And
everybody's playing a game and leaving her out. How would that make you feel?
Sad. And one time they were playing a game.
That's awful.
Somehow, whenever they played games, they wouldn't allow her to play. But
Doesn't that make you tear up a little bit?
They never really talked to her, but Miss Henry said that they had to let her play.
Yes, you have to tap her head.
And let her play with the toys.
Yes.
And so she did, but they pretty much ignored her.
Because those kids that were ignoring her probably had parents who told them to do that.
You have to touch her. And she rolled her eyes at her.
Because their parents probably told them to do that.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Aww. But the teacher was doing good things, right? Because she was trying to teach them that all kids need the same thing, love and nurturing.
And Ruby Bridges is still alive. She's in her 60s.
Oh, she is.
And I actually even got to see a picture of her.
Does she look like a little angel? Because she sounds like an angel.
She's nice, but she looks way older.
Yeah, she's probably wrinkly a little bit, but she probably is still like an angel.
Even though she's really old, she has like no white hair or anything. She doesn't really look old.
Oh, good for her. Good for her.
And she even
God
has
bless her.
own school.
She does.
Yeah, she started school and she's very busy. One kid in our class asked if she could come to our class.
Yeah.
Mr. Meta said she couldn't because of how busy she is.
She's very famous right now, and yeah, I understand that. I get that.
So she probably wouldn't be able to come to our class, like...
You know what I think would be a good idea?
What?
Because you're in 3rd grade now, and next year you're in 4th grade.
Yeah.
So maybe you can do a lesson at your school for the kids in your school that are younger than in the next few years. Maybe they'll let you come in and teach this lesson, because you know what? You are a very good teacher.
Yeah, but what does he do? Would I teach Ruby Bridges? I could really only teach Ruby Bridges because I know the most about her.
No, but I think that your school should let you come in and do some teaching. Maybe next year, I think you would be very good at it, because you are very passionate and very smart, very diligent, and you're very good at teaching, and I think that's probably going to be your calling. We did a good lesson without any practice. So, you know, teachers before they teach actually do practice, and you didn't have any, so you did amazing. But you only did amazing because you're amazing teachers at Neil Armstrong and
Walt Disney.
And Disney just for this last year. They taught you everything that you know, because I didn't. So I'm very thankful. That makes me feel good because I pay all these school taxes.
Mhm.
I like to film this. You know why?
Why?
Because it just showed me all my money that I spent for my school taxes, taught my grandson all of this, more than I could have, and none of my money was wasted. Because I'm really good. Oh.
That's Ruby Bridges now.
That's Ruby?
Mhm.
Oh, wow. She still looks pretty young.
And that's when she was a kid.
Oh, Ethan. Aww. You just love history.
Yeah.
You are gonna be a history guru. Good boy.
Go back to what I want to see what Klutz Klutz Klan means.
Ku Klux Klan. It's Ku Klux Klan.
No, at school, on the movie it said Klutz Klutz.
No, it's Ku Klux Klan.
I'll just do KKK.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Because I know you know more than I.
Does KKK mean? Urban Dictionary for KKK. Oh, I see why. A bunch of racist morons.
What, you know what morons means?
Yeah.
What?
Like,
Extremely stupid people.
yep. Who think that they're superior only because they are stupid to observe the low position amongst the scum of society.
Exactly. There
In
you
fact,
go.
stupid, they burn their own religion to show faith. They were stupidity.
Stupidity.
Stupidity
Stupidity. You
doesn't
didn't.
begin to explain the moronic logic and manipulative ways in which they scheme
Scheme, yeah.
only to disturb the